Welcome back to Sumo 101, Deep Dive from Tokyo. The Kyushu Basho just finished, and as soon as the last salt hits the dohyo on 15th day, sumo fans immediately move on to the next obsession, Banzuke predictions. The official Banzuke for the next tournament will be announced on December 22nd. So yes, even though it's still about a month away, the prediction battles among fans have already started. First, as a basic premise, the Banzuke is counted in units called mai. You can think of them as individual slots within each rank. So you'll see things like 前頭15枚目 meaning 前頭15 slot, 重量3枚目 重量the third slot, and so on. Me works just like th in English, as in third, fourth. Each of these ranks is also split into east, higashi, and west, nishi, and there is a clear hierarchy between them. Even if the number is the same, east is treated as half a slot higher than west. So for example, east 前頭2枚目 and west 前頭2枚目 are not equal. East is considered half a rank higher than west. That tiny half step can still matter when you're comparing careers or deciding future movement on the Banzuke. So, how do they actually decide where everyone goes? The foundation is simple. If you kachikoshi, more wins than losses, you go up. If you makekoshi, more losses than wins, you go down. On the final day, that one match to reach kachikoshi or avoid makekoshi. It can mean a big difference in your next rank. That's why you see so much emotion, relief, or frustration, because it directly affects the next Banzuke. Now, how do we turn wins and losses into movement? Let's imagine a simple system. Take wins minus losses, and use that as a rough number of one rank you move. Examples: 8-7, 8 minus 7 plus 1. Think of that as about one rank up. 9-6, 9 minus 6 plus 3. Maybe 3 ranks up. 12-3, 12 minus 3 plus 9. A big jump upward. This is a good way to imagine it. But important point, this is only the basic idea, not a strict mathematical formula. If you try to rank everyone with just that wins minus losses idea, you run into problems. Several rikishi might all deserve the same exact spot based purely on their records. It doesn't take into account who they fought. Beating sanyaku or upper opponents is not the same as beating only lower ranked guys. And then you have extra complications, injuries and absences. Some wrestlers, like Mita or Meisei in recent memory, may be absent for part or all of a tournament. How do you treat someone who was ranked high but had to sit out? Do you drop them like a rock? Do you go easy? Because of all this, the final decision by the Banzuke committee is very relative, quite case by case, and honestly, a bit vague and subjective. There is also a recent trend. They don't like to drop rikishi too dramatically anymore. So, falling down the rankings is often softer, which means going up tends to be stricter. You really have to earn those promotions. All right, let's look at what we can say with pretty high confidence right now. First, Aonishiki promoting to Ozeki. With the West Ozeki slot currently empty, it's the perfect opening for him. Then we have Kotozakura. He got his kachikoshi, so he should stay at Ozeki. Moving up to Sekiwake, it will most likely be Takayasu, who scored a kachikoshi at Komusubi, and Kiishima, who put up a strong 11-4 record. Oho finished 7-8, so he'll probably drop one rank down to Komusubi. Now, the other Komusubi slot is where it gets tricky. If you just look at the numbers, Wakamotoharu with 8-7, 1 rank up, and Ichiyamamoto with 11-4, 7 points up, end up at about Maegashira 1 level. They both can be Komusubi, but there's important context here. Wakamotoharu fought Sanyaku and above, and even beat the Hoshoryu and an Ozeki. Ichiyamamoto, on the other hand, was facing mostly lower-ranked opponents. And on top of that, in their direct showdown on Senshuraku, Wakamotoharu beat Ichiyamamoto. Taking all of that into account, my personal prediction is that Wakamotoharu ends up as West Komusubi. That would put Ichiyamamoto at East Maegashira 1 and Yoshinofuji, who won 9-6 and defeated both Onosato and Aonishiki, at West Maegashira 1. Wakatagahage, with a 7-8, probably drops 1 rank to Maegashira 2. Ura, with an 8-7, likely moves up 1 rank to Maegashira 2. So from the top down, you can more or less sketch out the upper part of the Banzuke like this. Now, let's look at the Rikishi who are likely to drop from Makuuchi to Juryo. This time, among the lower Makuuchi ranks. The ones who clearly had heavy makekoshi or missed the tournament and are almost certain to fall to Juryo are Sadanomi, Shonannomi, Meisei. Most of the other lower ranked Makuuchi Rikishi actually managed to get kachikoshi, so it's hard to see anyone besides those 3 being demoted. What this means is, in Kyushu, even though the top of Juryo was packed with strong, capable Rikishi, the bottom of Makuuchi didn't collapse very much. So you end up with a harsh situation where some Rikishi with records good enough for promotion on paper will still have to stay in Juryo, simply because there's no space. At the top of Juryo, the big winners were Asanoyama with a 12-3. A fantastic double-digit kachikoshi, which is roughly plus 9 slots in our earlier way of counting. If you just add 9 slots to his previous rank, that puts him around West Maegashira 12, so his return to Makuuchi looks basically guaranteed. Asahaku-ryu at West Juryo 2 with 10-5, about plus 5. Hatsuyama at East Juryo 5 with 11-4, about plus 7. These 3, Asanoyama, Asahaku-ryu, and Hatsuyama, are the ones whose promotion to field's almost certain. However, because Makuuchi is so crowded this time, all 3 of them will probably land very low in the top division. I'd expect Asanoyama to settle around Maegashira 15 or 16. Balancing kachikoshi at the top of Juryo against makekoshi at the bottom of Makuuchi is extremely delicate. So as we get close to the final day, you sometimes see what are basically exchange matches being set up. On day 15 in Kyushu, for example, we had Asako-ryu versus Kotoeho, Oshoumi versus Fujisein. Both times, the Makuuchi Rikishi won. So you could say they protected their spots in the top division. It really shows how hard it is, not only to reach Makuuchi, but to stay there. There's even a stat that says, in 2025, across all 6 Basho, only 28 out of 42 managed to stay in the top division the whole year. In other words, about 1/3 of Makuuchi Rikishi dropped out at least once. It's a brutal world. So I really recommend you try making your own Banzuke predictions too. You'll start to notice Rikishi with good Banzuke luck, Rikishi with bad Banzuke luck, and that makes following SUMO even more interesting. Give it a try. Banzuke prediction is a lot of fun.